Hi, I'm Christy Wisniewski. I'm the outreach specialist at Door County Medical Center Rehab Services, and I coordinate our memory clinic and memory care services. I'm here today to talk to you about tips and tricks to keep your brain healthy while at home. First of all, this has been a really tough time for people with regard to memory. I know when I was yanked out of my routine of getting the kids dressed for school and myself ready for work, I really struggled to remember things like what day it is or who I talked to yesterday. We need those routines in order to cue us as to what comes next and who people are that we interact with. So give yourself a little bit of a break if you're struggling to remember certain things at this difficult time of year. So first I'm going to tell you a little bit about tips to keep your brain strong. A lot of my information comes from research conducted at UW-Madison School of Medicine, the Alzheimer's Disease Research Center. They partner with our memory clinic in order to provide the most up-to-date information in how to keep your brain strong. The most important research evidence found includes exercise. Research states that when you exercise up to 5 days a week, 30 minutes a day, at a good moderate intensity, that your brain actually creates new brain cells. And those brain cells are most plentiful in the middle of the brain called the hippocampus. The hippocampus acts as sort of the librarian. It takes in all of that short-term memory information, categorizes it, and sends it out for the long-term storage. So when you are exercising, you're actually increasing your brain's ability to take in information and focus on that information and then store it for the long term. It also decreases stress, improves circulation to the millions of blood vessels in your brain, and really just improves your whole body's health. So I can't stress enough the importance of exercise. Now, being at home, it's a little more difficult. Many of us were going to the gym, we were with other people, we were motivated to exercise and do those things. I can't stress enough the importance of continuing to exercise and finding a way to do it. Sometimes chair exercise can be just as beneficial, particularly if you're challenging yourself. Watching TV, marching in place while you're watching TV and maybe stopping at commercials, or raising your arms every time a certain word is said during a TV show. Make it fun, make it interesting, and maybe it'll be a little more motivating. Also, there are programs popping up in the community, once again, to get people back socializing and also to keep that exercise going. So the ADRC now has a walking group that you might be looking into. Or Adam Peranto is an exercise physiologist with Door County Medical Center who is available to you if you have any questions or would like to get started in an exercise routine. So I would encourage you to find those opportunities to keep exercising despite having to stay at home. The next area of lifestyle that's important to keep your brain strong is nutrition. So research right now is pointing out the importance of the MIND diet. And the MIND diet is a combination of the Mediterranean diet and the DASH diet. Mediterranean diet is something you might already be familiar with. It's full of fruits and vegetables and good fats, omega-3 fatty acids. The DASH diet is a low sodium diet. So they are promoting a diet that is both healthy foods and also low sodium, low sugar, and low, bad animal fats like dairy, butter, the red meats. It's a little bit difficult. It's a little more strict. I know I struggle with the butter because I love my cookies. But I have to say that when you do eat those good healthy foods, you are providing your brain with all of the nutrients it needs in order to keep those brain cell connections strong and communicating effectively. It also clears out all of the free radicals or all of the damage that occurs as we just go through our daily processes. So trying to really encourage more fruits and vegetables when you're at home. Frozen meals, frozen vegetables, frozen fruits, those are still excellent sources for your fruits and vegetables. And if you can try to get even canned tuna, trying to keep the sodium down as much as you can, or any other good omega-3 fatty acids, then again, you're going to be doing your brain a lot of good. Next area of research that has been shown to benefit your brain includes trying to decrease your stress a bit. So that's easy for me to say, but really challenging to do at this time, I know. But when you are decreasing your stress, you're decreasing a hormone in your brain called cortisol. And cortisol actually blocks your brain's ability to store memory as effectively as if it wasn't high, and also retrieve memory. And in fact, if there's a chronic stress going on, high level of stress and increased cortisol for that period of time, it can actually damage that hippocampus, that area that's responsible for storing long-term memory. So in effort to decrease stress, it is so important to participate in some stress reduction activity. That might be just a breathing exercise. Research out of Wake Forest University showed that participants in a meditation program for just 20 minutes, 5 days a week, performed better on cognitive tests than those that weren't in the meditation program. And they did particularly well in areas that required focus and required their brains to hold on to information while they were completing a task. So that is going to benefit your brain greatly. But there's lots of ways that you can reduce stress. Just reaching out to a friend, and having a conversation by phone, or talking to family on the digital platform that you prefer, or even taking advantage once again of some of the social programs that are socially distant programs that are starting to pop up in the community. But trying to reduce your stress that way. Positive affirmations have been shown to really benefit good brain health. Journal writing, gratitude listing, those are all very good mindfulness, meditative type activities that you could do at home. Next area of research that benefits brain health includes sleep. Sleep is sort of a newer area of study, but boy, has it shown to be powerful in maximizing your brain health. So when you sleep, your brain's areas of activity light up that are the same areas that were lighting up while you were awake. So it's actually cementing the new information that you were taking in during the day if you attended enough to it. So in order to improve memory, you want to try to get good sleep. Sleep also decreases that stress hormone cortisol that I was talking about earlier. And it cleans out all of that buildup that, again, is generated as we go throughout our day. So if you are struggling with sleep, and it's understandable if you are, given these uncertain times, it's important that you find ways to cope with that. I would first recommend maybe talking with your doctor. Find out if there are any causes of sleep change for you, such as a medication side effect or a metabolic issue that might be going on. Sometimes the doctor might recommend even, tracking your sleep with a little sleep screener. You might also look into ways to improve your sleep just by turning off a screen. If you're looking at your phone or the computer or the TV, turning it off an hour before bed. Reading outside of your bedroom, using your bed just for that sleep activity. Trying to exercise in the morning and trying to, nap shorter or not nap at all during the day. Anything that'll improve your sleep is going to manage your brain or improve your brain. And then finally, the other area of maximum benefit for your brain is mental stimulation. And that's where I'm going to tell you some tricks. Mental stimulation is important to keep your brain strong, to protect it with new neural growth, which occurs when we challenge our brain with new or novel activities. Now, our brains are made up of over 90 million brain cells, and these brain cells take in information through our senses, so through our sight and our hearing and our taste and our touch. And all of that sensory information needs to come together in order to form a memory of, say, a name or a food or a routine. So when we are out of our routines or we're not doing the same things, then those memories aren't being excited as much. And there's chance that we may notice some significant change. So I'm going to provide some creative activities and exercises that you can do while at home to stimulate those sensory areas of your brain. So first of all, one that I often recommend that's kind of fun is to use your non-dominant hand. This is my left hand, which is my non-dominant hand. Use it for everyday activities like brushing your teeth. Or someone once offered to take wads of paper and throw it at a basket. Not only are you using that non-dominant hand, but you're training your visual spatial perception in doing that, which can benefit other areas of your life. Use that non-dominant hand to put on your socks or to button some buttons, or you might even try washing your dishes, but don't use the glasses when you're washing the dishes. So that is lighting up areas of your brain that aren't typically lit up in just your routine activities. You might also try with regard to vision, you might try turning items in your house upside down, like your clock or your calendar. Routine items that we don't even think twice about when we're looking at them, and yet when it's turned upside down, we're stimulating our brain to visualize what that is supposed to be and comprehend what it's supposed to be. So you're lighting up more areas of your brain than if it was right side up. I've had people turn a page of paper with writing on it, turn it over and try to read it upside down. Again, you're perceiving information that you're taking in and comprehending it and then trying to read it out loud. So you're inviting all sorts of senses in order to create that activity. I also have to say, as you do these activities, it will get easier. So challenge yourself to do it for a couple days, and you will actually see evidence that your brain is stimulating new neural connections and possibly even new brain cells by doing these activities. With regard to sound, I would encourage you to challenge your hearing in various ways. Personally, I like to go out in the morning and identify all of the different sounds that I'm hearing, which sounds very, common. Everyone does that. But if you take a minute to hear the birds, the cars, the neighbors, the wind, the sound of the rocks under your feet, you'll be amazed how many sounds that we are just ignoring and not hearing. So you're stimulating other areas of your brain that may not necessarily be stimulated. You might also try turning on some music that your grandkids listen to, or some news show that you would never listen to. Again, to hear information that you may not have wanted to attend to before, understanding it, comprehending it. You might also try listening to a friend and counting all of the thes in the sentence. Again, you're hearing information and you're increasing your ability to focus or comprehend, which also impacts your ability to remember information because you're actively attending to it. Finally, smell. Smell is a sense that I believe is underutilized. We're so reliant on our sight or our hearing, and our smell often gets avoided. So close your eyes, reach into your spice cabinet and pull out a spice. Smell it and try to figure out what you're smelling. That's just one activity you could try. Other more fun activities might be making cookies or making bread or making sauerkraut or pickles, and just trying to really stimulate your brain with those smells that maybe you don't get on a regular basis. And the last activity that I've been doing with my kids at home is taste. So when you are eating your breakfast, let's say you're having scrambled eggs for breakfast, really tune into what you are tasting and what you are feeling. What is the texture of it? So those scrambled eggs are very creamy. Maybe they're kind of savory, or maybe they're salty. Not only picture and label this information, but act as if you need to sell it. Act as if you have, this alien visitor that has never had scrambled eggs before, and you need to sell it. Oh, this is a very creamy, salty, savory item that you need to try. And in that way, you are stimulating your brain through your taste and your texture in ways that maybe you hadn't before, because we're just so busy trying to get breakfast down. So those are some activities you could try to stimulate your brain in sensory ways. And again, those sensory information is stimulating brain cells that may not be stimulated otherwise. So you're providing some protective benefit for your brain and possibly creating new brain cells. If you have any other questions or would like more information about ways to keep your brain strong or information about memory care services, please feel free to reach out to me. Again, my name is Christy Wisniewski. I'm an outreach specialist with Door County Medical Center, and I work with our memory care services. Thank you.